So much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Hello, I'm Teresa, co-host of the Earrings Off podcast. In today's episode, Lou and I discuss a recent New York Times article titled "The Disturbing Truth About Hair Relaxers." In this article, it was noted that Black women have had a centuries-old, complicated relationship to our hair. It has been a source of style, creativity, and pride, as well as pain, insult, and discrimination. In the early 1900s, as hundreds of thousands of Black people migrated from the South to cities in the North to find employment in factories or as washerwomen and maids working in white homes, Black women made damaging efforts to straighten their hair in order to be perceived as presentable and professional rather than unsophisticated and country. The article also reveals that hair relaxers have significant health risks and that these products, which are marketed aggressively to Black women, have been linked to reproductive disorders and cancers. The evidence shows a connection between hair relaxers and endocrine-disrupting substances, which can lead to early menstruation and various reproductive health issues, including uterine fibroids, preterm birth, infertility, and breast, ovarian, and uterine cancers. Despite these risks, the popularity of hair relaxers persists due to societal beauty standards and a lack of regulatory oversight. This is worth repeating. Chemical hair relaxers are heavily marketed to Black women and are underregulated, and there is a direct link between these products and a number of health disorders in Black women. Stay tuned to hear our discussion about the article and our experiences with relaxers. Please share this one with all the women in your life. Email us at info@earringsoff.com with your thoughts and comments on this subject. Enjoy. Well, hello, Lou. How's it going?
It's going well, partner. How are you doing?
It's another day in paradise.
Oh, yeah. Earrings Off Paradise.
Girl, I'm sure you caught that news on relaxers.
Oh, yeah.
Something that
Teresa,
we've
I
all
saw it.
already known. I mean,
Yeah.
we've known. Talking
Yeah.
about hair relaxers.
Well, we know about it, but that article in the New York Times, which just talked about it,
Yeah.
that just provides more clarity and continues to shine the light on relaxers and the harm that they can cause, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on or what's happening because this is the second such article in the last few weeks, because what came out just a few weeks ago was about the weave and the chemicals involved in the fake hair that we use for our braids and such, how toxic those are.
I know, Teresa, you told me about that one. I didn't actually see that one, but yeah, you shared about that one. Oh my goodness. But Teresa, you know, there are so many things related to these relaxers, but the thing that sticks out for me, particularly as we talk about Black women, are the incidences of fibroids.
Oh, yeah.
Because, that is a big, big thing in
Yeah.
our community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is true. Yeah. I mean, I mean, I don't know where to go with that when my head is spinning actually, because that's one thing, right? And because we're talking about relaxers today, I'm going to try to channel my mind there and
yeah,
try to stick on that subject. But the thing that's swimming around in my head is that all of the chemicals that are involved in our day-to-day lives impact
right.
us. And we
Absolutely.
and we as a community use so many of these products.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it's so true. But the thing about it is, there are going to be environmental toxins
mhm.
and things that we take in, some knowingly and unknowingly in the
Yeah,
environment. But when I think about the relaxers, it's like I think about other things. You have to think about what risk you're willing to take on, and is that a priority? But Teresa, I want to back it up because this goes back to what we learned as little girls. It was a rite of passage, to get your first relaxer and to have your hair straightened and to get to go to the beauty salon. That was all a part of us seeing ourselves as beautiful.
I know, Lou.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know.
Yeah.
For me though, you know, like my mom, I didn't get a perm until I was in college.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
I didn't get
Yeah.
a perm. Now I did get my hair straightened. It was
Hmm.
just with a hot comb.
Right,
Remember
right, right.
those?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah.
But for the most part, I wore braids,
Yeah.
like cornrows and um, you know, styles like that. Um,
Yeah.
because I don't know why. I should really ask her about that. But my mom also didn't
Hmm.
wear um a perm, and trust me, my hair needed
Yeah.
that little straightener.
Well, and I tell you, I just want to say to the audience, though, that this earrings off is never about blame and
No.
saying to people, you should know better, you shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
that. That's not the purpose of this episode either. What we want to do, though, at Earrings Off and always is to provide you with information so that you can make good
Good
decisions
decisions.
that impact your health and your quality of life. Because Teresa and I are upfront in saying that we've had relaxers and gone through that. But now, Teresa, when I think back after reading about them and the potential for harm, it's like I think to myself, why didn't I think that anything that someone would put on my hair that would cause that much pain, that much pain? Why didn't I ever question how harmful that could be to me? But in our community, growing up and with our environment, you just didn't question that. That was a part of the of who we are, of our culture, even because it's almost like you learned years ago, like when they teach you about exercise, no pain, no gain. We now know that's not true. But for so long, we felt like we had to almost punish ourselves physically for a good, solid workout, you know?
Yeah. But Lou,
And
was it go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, but now I think back and how painful that was. I mean, I experienced scalp burns, and didn't question it.
Yeah. So you mentioned culture. Was it really part of
Yeah.
our culture? I think, or was it that assimilation, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
so I, I, I don't know. I didn't question it either. I have
yeah,
had my share of scalp burns as well.
yeah.
Um, but
Well, it was absolutely,
luckily, yeah,
yeah, it was absolutely, like you say, assimilation and what we've been taught. But when I say it was part of the culture, because it's what being right or wrong, it's what we ascribe as beauty, you know?
yeah,
And as an ideal,
yeah,
um, something, a goal for us, even as part of our, beauty protocol.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The thing that is concerning to me is that you sent me the article and I read it. Of course, that sent me on a deeper dive. And
mm-hmm.
I'm learning that though the use of perms is way down, I mean, I can count on my hand the number of girlfriends I have
Yeah,
who aren't natural at
yeah.
this point, right?
Really?
Yes. But what I found is that though the sales are down, um, there's a resurgence of the use of perms in social media.
Yeah,
Apparently in TikTok, they're on TikTok, which
yeah.
I'm not on.
And I've seen those.
There are girls, young girls, who are now perming their hair, who were natural,
Right.
and they're perming their hair to say, hey, look at me and look at what this perm did for me. And
Well,
that is what I'm concerned about. These young girls who they don't know
well,
about, the harms that the chemicals can do
to the hair.
to their bodies.
Well, and this is the thing. I've seen that trend because I am on TikTok and it's called relaxers are back or something like that. So I went down the rabbit hole looking at that. The young ladies and the people featured have gone from natural hair to relaxers. But when I look at that, I'm thinking, that's again what I'm hearing them say though, Teresa, is that it's harder for them to maintain and manage their hair in its natural state versus, getting their hair straight. And I went through that for a period when I've gone back and forth natural many times. This is the longest period I've been natural. But when you first, go back, or if you do the big chop or whatever, it can be challenging versus just getting a relaxer and bumping it a bit and moving on, you know? And that's what they're saying. But once I began to look at the larger picture and I began to be concerned about the potential for harm to my body, to my health, for me, it was okay. I really can't take that kind of exposure into my system, and it's not something I have to do, you know?
Absolutely. And that's what I want the young girls to get. I mean, and the mothers of these young girls, they need
Right.
to know that, you know, early onset puberty is a problem.
That and
Uh,
yeah, Teresa, I read about that
mhm.
there's a study where they were questioning or wondering why are our girls going through puberty sooner than other young girls? And they have tied that to the use of relaxers.
Yeah,
Wow.
actually, that's one of them, one of the
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, and so it's anytime like you said, we did not grow up questioning anything. I mean, we used
No,
the
no.
deodorants, the lotions,
Right,
the potions,
right.
anything to get rid of what we think is going to get rid of acne, all these
Yeah,
things that we put on our skin. Our skin is our largest organ,
yeah,
honestly. So if you put
yeah.
it on your skin, it is going to get into your body and it can cause it can cause there's a potential there for a lot of
Yeah.
health challenges or risks. Yeah. So we have to be super careful, but it is a lot easier. It is a lot easier when your hair is straightened, I have to admit. I've never gone back. I've never I've
Yeah.
never straightened my hair since once I went natural.
And
I've never
Teresa,
gone back.
I know I've gone back at least probably 4 or 5 times.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
I and it was the transition, it was tough. I tell you because, you know, like I said, I got that first perm as an adult, and then I
Mm-hmm.
wore my hair permed, and then, once I was pregnant, it was like I'm not doing that anymore. I guess I did know somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inherently, I knew that it was not good for me to
But
make the
at that
decision.
time, you didn't have the knowledge that you have now, but you just determined that was not, wow.
Once I
Yeah.
found out it was time for a perm, once I found out I was pregnant, and I said, I'm not putting that in my hair. I'm not doing that because
Wow.
I'm expecting. So what I did do though, was to wear braids. I discovered braids. I'd never worn those before either.
Yeah.
And it was really sad actually. I fancy myself not, I think I'm okay when it comes to smarts, but when it came to that hair
For
thing,
sure.
I did not know a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I didn't know. I went to a girl and had that braids done. She was not a professional, it was someone's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea I was supposed to take them out after a
Okay.
couple of
Yeah. Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
I
What?
was still wearing them, right? Like 3 months.
I know
And
you
girl,
looked a hot mess, but okay.
I looked a
Okay.
hot mess. And so I couldn't get it out, Lou. I
Yeah.
couldn't. My hair had, I guess, locked
Yeah.
to the
Uh-huh.
braid.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Robert had to help me get it out.
Yeah.
And I was crying. I was like, oh my Lord, I'm gonna
That's
have to cut all my hair off. And so I didn't do that. I found a stylist after that.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
learned from that mistake and I found a professional. And there was maintenance with the
Oh,
braids. And
oh
so it
yeah.
was never that difficult again.
Yeah.
But that's what I transitioned into. That's how I grew my hair out,
Yeah.
was with braids during my pregnancy. And then afterwards, I tried to learn how to do my hair. I know
It's,
I've spent, and I read this too, in that article that you sent. If we had all the money
oh my
that we
goodness.
have spent on product.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And just going to the salon. So Teresa, then you never experienced like a burn because I had a really bad, I had burns a couple of times on my scalp, but I had one that was really bad one time.
Okay.
And I learned it was from a bad perm. I think an
Okay.
expired perm that was used on my hair.
Oh boy.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
didn't even know they expired. So,
Yeah.
Lou, I was very fortunate in that the girl that did my hair, uh, she was not for perms. I mean, she
Hmm.
did them,
Hmm.
but everyone uh that came to her, she wore locks herself, but she tried to transition folks into locks. She tried to transition her clients into locks. Now,
Hmm.
I never made it there, but what did happen was I cut my hair because of her. I wore my hair very short, right?
Hmm.
I wore a very short hairstyle. And so and she never burned me. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
the point is that I never had a chemical burn from her.
Yeah, yeah.
But when she was in Atlanta, of course, and when I moved to Virginia, I did travel back to get my perms
Hmm.
for,
Hmm.
I hate to say it, for a few years.
Hmm.
Right?
I want you
And
people don't miss that. Teresa used to go back home to get her hair done. Okay, that
I
I'm
did
just trying to
permed,
tell you.
permed,
Yeah,
permed. I
yeah.
did. And then I I went to J.C. Penney actually
Yeah.
here and found another lady who was quite skilled who did not burn me, but she stopped doing hair. So I
Mm.
had to find another person. And this is when I experienced a chemical burn. And that
Wow.
was like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, what did you do to me? Like
Yeah.
the water hurt it. I mean, I
Yeah.
never went back to that. I never went back to that lady, but I should have known then, right? But no, it was being pregnant that somehow triggered something in me and my husband actually. He was like, we're not
Hmm.
doing that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. Yeah.
Well, but the article also referenced hair breakage and
Oh,
hair
yeah.
thinning as a result of the perm, because
Mhm.
even being natural now, and I've been natural for quite a few years now, I believe it changed the texture of my hair. Because my hair was a lot more curly than even it is now, many years later. I believe it actually changed the texture of my hair. And I think that's why many women just do the big chop, because your hair has been impacted as a result of all of those relaxers. And I have to say, particularly as you age, I notice some women, and that may be part of the issue as you age, using these relaxers, which is causing your hair to break and be thinner. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't experience that, but yeah, I can see how that would be a thing.
Hmm.
It definitely alters the texture. It's a
Oh yeah.
chemical.
Oh yeah.
The other thing that I I hate to acknowledge because you know, I just can't and the article referenced it too, and I said, "Oh Lord, jeez," but it's color.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Lou, it's a chemical. Oh my gosh.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
though I don't use the permanent color, it did
yeah,
reference permanent color. The color
yeah.
that I use is still the chemical, right? It
Right,
might not
right.
be
Yeah,
permanent.
I struggle with that
And
too.
I'm
Yeah.
just not ready yet to have a head of gray hair.
I
And that's my
know.
vanity. That's my
Yeah, I tell
vanity.
you, mine
And
too.
I will
But
let, I don't mind my hair being natural. I love my hair in its natural state. I don't, texture, I should say. But the color,
yeah, yeah.
I'm just not ready.
And
But
I don't know why I have such a hang up with that, because I see women with gray hair and they look beautiful, and
beautiful.
they are rocking it. But mine, the way it comes in, it's just not that look. So I'm trying to work with that, being
Actually,
more
Lou,
accepting.
I
Mm.
like the way your color comes in
Well,
because it's spread
yes, it's
throughout.
spread out. Yeah.
But
But
for me, it's different. It's across the front,
yeah, yeah, I tell you.
and it just looks like ombre,
Yours is beautiful too. We have to just
we're
give
harder on
ourselves
ourselves.
more grace. Yeah.
Yeah, we're harder
As
on
we
ourselves than
we
others.
experience changes. But Teresa, I want to reference the study in May 2022. The National Institute of Health did a study,
Yeah.
and they studied over 1,000 women. And the results showed that long-term use of some relaxers was tied to a 33% increase in breast cancer. The article where I found this said that, listen at this quote, I think most Black women would not consciously decide to put something on their head that would harm them. So the issue is that most Black women simply don't know. The price of Black women's beauty should never be our health. And so that, to me, that pretty much tells the story, because as we learn, when you know better, you do better. We aren't
exactly right.
chemists. We don't know what all of the ingredients may be and the implications. But when we get the information, it should make us think about the potential for harm. And are we willing to take that risk on in terms of our health and well being? And what we're showing the next generation of women coming behind us. Are we placing too much of a value on what we deem to be beauty at the expense of our health?
Lou, that is so true. And if nothing else, I hope people get that point.
Yeah.
And along with that, I'd like to share a resource, and I will include it in the show notes. And I've
Okay.
shared this on the show many, many times. Environmental Working Group, EWG.org. On that website, every product imaginable, every product is listed there, and it's also listed on that site how toxic, if toxic, a product may be and what
Mhm.
things it can cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
And Teresa, you have referenced that site as well. As we said at the beginning, this is not uh, to condemn anyone or to say what to do and not to do, but it is to provide information, because the site that you just shared, Teresa, helps us to make decisions about, okay, if I'm going to knowingly accept this level of risk, where are some areas that I might be able to make changes which might be beneficial to my overall well-being? And that's what we do every day. You try to make decisions which place you in a better posture for your health.
That's
And
right.
that's just where we are. So hopefully, as we get more information, we can make better choices, because I agree with the researcher which says I have more faith in us. I have to believe, and I absolutely do believe, that we will not in any way place ourselves at risk, our health at risk, because we believe that some look is more important than that. When at the end of the day, we all know we're beautiful. That's who
Yes.
we are.
Yes.
And
Absolutely, Lou.
so we have to just be mindful of that. And where our mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers, we can let them off the hook because they didn't know. They would
They did not.
never expose us
They
to
would not have.
anything that was harmful. I
That's
know
right.
that with my mom, with my aunts, and
That's right.
every other woman in my circle. I absolutely believe that.
I do too.
But I also believe, like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, we have to do better. And so if we are now learning better, we have to teach the younger women coming behind us better. And I can just say it can be challenging to be natural. Teresa, you're blessed with beautiful daughters, I'm sure, who can share products and things with you. But I have also have younger women in my circle and my nieces, and just even walking around, I've had younger sisters come up to me and say, I like your hair, or you know what, this is the product I'm using, because we can help each other as we transition, and we can share knowledge that can help the transition, make the transition easier for us. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is some good stuff. And you mentioned my daughters, neither of whom have had perms in their hair.
Wow. Yeah.
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 No,
Yeah.
no, neither.
That's
But
huge.
while chemical hair relaxers offer a solution to manage and style our hair, the potential, as we've shared, for health risks are there, and they're significant.
Yeah.
It's crucial for us to be aware of these risks and consider alternatives like the products we've talked about. Additionally, we need to hold the manufacturers, the policymakers, and physicians. Um, they should take responsibility for informing consumers about these risks, and we should all advocate for safer products.
Right. And men, don't think you're getting off the hook with this, because sometimes you can be part of the problem, but you can also be part of the solution in terms of the biases that we have in our own community against natural hair. And so check yourself and think about what role you may play in that, and try to be supportive as we journey to better health. So that's it for us here today on Earrings Off. Again, it's never to condemn, it's always to inform. That's part of our job here, to make sure you have what you need to make good choices and to be healthier. Thanks so much for joining us today here on Earrings Off.
Take good care.